Do you notice the mainstream media deflection of things that aren't palatable to the public? It's usually it's a conspiracy theory. Only crazy people think that is true. Then it's B, okay, well, it is true, but it's not as bad as the conspiracy theorists make it seem to be. Then it's C, which is, okay, it is happening, it is true, but here's why it's a good thing. And then it's D, this is great that it's happening. Anyone that's against it is a bad person. Okay, so we find ourselves at B. Apparently, the ESRB is saying that it's not using facial recognition with children and is upset at the IGN that this was reported. And I'm thinking, like, okay, well, no one accused you that you're using facial recognition on children. The issue is with the fact that, first of all, this normalizes the concept. Okay, like if sexist jokes normalize sexism, if racist jokes normalize racismus, then surely showing your face in front of the webcam before playing a video game normalizes that behavior and makes it think that it's acceptable for a company to put this type of product out there. And then they go and say, well, this is not for the use of children, because they have the Children Online Protection Act that they need to abide by. So, like this is actually legal area that they're trending with. And, it's interesting that they're also working with a Chinese affiliated company in order to do this. But anyway, right, so you say that this is not facial recognition, and you say that this is not to do with children. So like, what does it have to do? Well, it's like, if you have a video game and you don't want your children to play it, then you have this software which you need to show your face in front of a webcam to prove that you're an adult, and then the video game unlocks. Okay, now here's the trick question. What if the child uses it, right? Like, what if the child wants to play the video game and they show their face into the webcam to test if the system will allow them? Is that not taking the picture of a child? I'm just curious. How does it work, huh? Well, it's not intended, is it? But surely you're offering protections against that. You know what's interesting? The Tesla car, it had a similar issue where they claim that in order to upgrade their AI, in order to upgrade their self-driving technique, they requested that users allowed to use the Tesla camera in order to film the footage that they see on the roads. And they promise that the people doing this will have an anonymity, right? But the problem is that when you do this, when you opt in for this system, there are many things around the area where you're driving that can pinpoint people to their actual location. It's kind of the same like 4chan used to do with the "He Will Not Divide Us" flag. Like, they just looked at the sky and they saw how the planes are traveling and they accurately pinpointed where the flag is. It's kind of the same with the scandal that happened at Tesla. Like, people thought that they're being anonymous while they were driving and their cars were recording everything that was around it. But the people working at Tesla, the actual engineers and people behind the computer, could actually pinpoint where those people lived by looking at the traffic signs, by looking at the place that they were driving towards their garage. Like, some of them even managed to see what's inside the garage. So even if, like, the company says, oh, well, we will never, like, obviously your data is safe, why would I trust them? Why would I trust a corporation? I genuinely, like, do not understand this left-leaning mindset where if a random individual from the street comes and says, hey, give me your data and I promise I won't give it to anyone else, no one is willing to trust that person. But for some fucking mysterious reason, if that person starts a company and then the company itself asks for permission, people are much more likely to believe, people are much more likely to be forward with their privacy, people are much more likely to do certain things that they wouldn't do if a random individual came out their door. And not only that, okay, it goes even deeper. If I were to say, hey, don't trust this guy, right, he seems a little bit fishy, then most people will say, well, you have a point, or some people will say, well, no, actually, I trust him, it's my business what I do with my data. But if I say, hey, don't trust this corporation, Then everyone goes like, oh, you're a conspiracy theory. So what? So what? You think the company is going to harvest the data? You think the company is going to do nefarious things and it's up to no good? Yes, absolutely. Like, why wouldn't it? It's financially incentivized to do so. Like, it's good business. It's good money. Not to mention, maybe even if they would say, okay, well, we're not going to collect any of the information. We're just developing this app. This app can then be used by the government. Like, we have seen this done before, where the private sector develops something like censorship, for example, like AI that censors websites, AI that censors content, right? The technology is being developed, and then the government can use it. So it's still going to be used against the average individual. It's still going to censor the average individual. So, like, why would I want to cooperate with this? Well, what is the benefit? Again, I don't understand. Like, they're saying it's for children. How is this better than just putting a password? Because this is how things used to work up until now. You had a video game. You didn't want kids to have access and play it. So you'd put a password on that video game. I mean, they have the same system with television sets. They have the same system with consoles. They have the same systems with pretty much everything, right? Like, you can put a password, and let's say you allow the kid to only play 1 or 2 hours. And if you're somewhat of a good parent and you do your job even a little bit, there should be absolutely no way, no reason that your child would have access to the password you just used. And even if they do, even if they somehow manage to get your password, you should still be able to check and see if your kid has played that game. Like, there are ways, there are programs you can install that will tell you what programs have been accessed on your computer. It's absolutely ridiculous. There is absolutely no need for this. The ESRB is panicking because they know the public doesn't want to, and they want to get in control of the conversation. They do not like the fact that this app has been made public, that people are already talking and are being against it. So this is why they're now blast reports that it's using facial recognition, right? Like, they're basically trying to call upon the fact checkers, call upon the people in the media, hey, shut down all conversation about this or label the people talking about this as being completely crazy and insane. But the reality is they're not crazy or insane. It's like this normalizes the behavior, all right? Like, I don't want to live in a world where it's like China. You want to play a video game, you have to show your face. I don't benefit anything from that. Like, I don't see, you got nothing to hide. I don't fucking care. Like, what is my benefit? How is this advantageous for me? Well, it's not. So if it's not, then why should I do it? Let me know what you guys think, though, and I will see you in the comment section. And take into account that I got a live stream channel where I go a little bit more in depth with these topics. There's a link into the pinned comment. If you click it there, you can subscribe to my other channel. So hopefully I'll see you guys there. Take care.